Hi there, this is Rene Rubacava and welcome to AutoNet. And today I want to talk a little bit about the latest release of the ArcGIS Online portal that you could use to upload and store and work with your GIS data. If you're not familiar with ArcGIS Online, it's basically a platform that Esri provides that lets you create data, create maps, and be able to share that data easily. And it's really useful for your organizations and even as a developer just to get familiar with the platform and all the tooling that you get to be able to use. So you can actually sign up for a free developer account that you can use to work with ArcGIS Online, and I've already got mine here that I'm signed into. But basically what that lets me do is gives me access to go ahead and create data sets in my developer account, and by doing so that lets me go ahead and have access to an ArcGIS Online portal that I can also use. So this is my portal homepage, and you can customize them for your needs. Here I've got links to my book and some of my social media accounts in here. But the interesting bit about the latest update for ArcGIS Online has to actually do with the item details pages. So when you're working with data in your ArcGIS Online account, everything is stored as an item. A web map is an item. Layers are items. Tables are items. Files like this GeoJSON here, that's an item. And that makes it very easy for you to work with this data when you're creating new web maps. So let's take a look at what the new item details pages look like. And you may notice here I've got things I've got from previous projects I've worked on before, and other videos I've done. I've got things in here for working with bars. I've got these requests I've worked with, which is from my last book for ArcGIS 3. And I've got this, you may notice feature right here, is American Gods and Geography of American Gods going on here. I'll be talking about those later on. Those are very cool data sets I'll hopefully get together for everyone. But if we just look at this bars feature layer, for example, and go to the item details page for this item details page has been completely revamped, and you've now got a quick access to be able to do things with your item that you didn't have before, to easily get to. They were there, but they're kind of hidden in different menus and stuff. So I can go ahead and I can open this particular item in the map viewer, and I can add to a new map or add to a map with editing. So if I just go open a map viewer here, it's going to go ahead and add it to a map, and I'll be able to use it. I can add more layers in here. I can save this web map and then share that web map with other people. I can also just go ahead, I can add this data in the scene viewer. So now I'm going to go ahead and add this particular data set into the scene viewer. I can add some more data to my scene, change some of the environment variables, do a lot of different things with it. And this is also a very cool bit that I could do in here and work with the 3D in my data. We have publish here, we have export data, you can export it out to anything else you want to use here. We've got override, you can share it. But the interesting bits actually are in these tabs up here. So if I go to the data tab here, I've now got a very easy to read data set for my information. And I can actually go in here and I can start editing this data. So this is a test edit. All right, I can just double click anywhere in here, and now I can start actually providing actual edits to my data set without having to open this data in a map. This is incredibly useful. You weren't able to actually do this before. You'd actually have to add this data to a web map and then open the attribute table for that web map with editing enabled, and you have to edit your features that way. So this is a great way to be able to come in here, quickly look at the data set and do a few things with it. You can go ahead and turn off particular fields. So if I don't care about the address, if I don't care about what the marker symbol is going to be, I can just go ahead and start playing around with this and make it a lot easier to be able to see and work with. Of course, I can just sort my data very easily. It's not a problem at all. Another great thing you can do is I can come over here to visualization. And this is a really, really great update to the item details pages. I now have access to work with the data, the layer itself, and update the visualization directly in the item details page without having to add more data to my map or add this data to a web map, which is incredibly useful. So if I come to symbols over here, see, so if I want to work on updating the symbology, I can go ahead and change the transparency here, change the scale range. If I want to change the symbol, I can go ahead and update my symbol to something else. Let's just go ahead and start picking out some random things. I mean, these are bars, so let's go ahead and that counts as outdoor recreation. Gold chest, of course, and yes, every bar is a chest of gold, which is fantastic, right? Let's go ahead and cancel that real quick. Let's go to the heat map. So now I can create a very simple heat map for my data set that shows the concentration of these bars, and we've got a nice little concentration here. And I have done this in a previous video on using your using GeoJSON data in ArcGIS Online to display this before. So now I can go ahead and save this layer or save as a new layer. So let's go ahead and save as a new layer. Let's save it as bars heat map. And I'll add a tag. I'll just call this bars. Now I won't. I'll just save in my normal folder, and it's now going to get saved as a brand new layer with brand new visualization. It's going to take me right back to my item details pages. And if I go to, so it's called bars heat map here. The thumbnail hasn't been updated at this point, but that's okay. We can take care of that later on. Now I come in here, and I'm going to have my heat map visualization for my bars. That's fantastic. I can check my usage tab, and I know I've got just made this, so there's no usage for this history here, but I got views for this period, average views per day. So if you create a web map with data sets and happens to go viral, you'll be able to see how much usage that data is getting here. That's not a shared data set, so I don't really have a lot of people viewing it. It's just me messing around with it. But if we look at something like let's see here, the request feature layer I have in here. I think that's probably going to have some usage on it. Yeah, right. So I've got some usage here, and this data set here, this is a data set that was used in my ArcGIS web development book, which covered 3x. So it's got a little bit of usage going on. We've got particular settings in here, so I can go ahead and I can delete this item, or I can prevent it from being deleted. I can update the extent. I've got all these different hosting settings, and this is really great here because this is all stuff you could have done before, but it just makes it a lot easier to set things on and off. So I can keep track of who edited these features. I mean, I'm the only one with editing capability on this particular data set at this point. Actually, if this one would be not, I might have this shared publicly so people can do the edits as they want, and that was a benefit of working with this particular layer for the bug. But I can limit it to what they can edit and add all these different constraints onto the data set. I can allow others to export the data. I could allow syncing of the data, and we have all these different options available to us, and that's fantastic. Another great feature, which you may not actually use right away, this is really more for people that are publishing their services from ArcGIS server to ArcGIS Online, because there are some things that you can do with your ArcGIS server services, such as related features, which is awesome. So if we look at a data set here that's got some related data, and it's even got attachments data sets here. I'm not sure if this has any attachments in here for photos. Well, no, there's no photos attachments in here. But this data set does have information for related tables, right? So if I go ahead and look at this feature here, and I have this owners have parcels, all right? So I click on this, and this one here has 3. So let's click on show here, and I'm gonna get the information for those 3, and we can just see that information real quick. I also want to see here what we got here. Owner has incidents, right? So there's some more information. So if we go and click on show here for these 2, right? And now it's starting to go ahead and put our tables into columns. We're really narrowing down the data that we're able to look at. So I'm looking at this particular parcel here with this particular owner, and this owner has particular incidents on that property. In this case, no, he had a leak and something was broken. No big deal. There's no pictures particularly on hand here. If there were photos, you'd be able to click on here and you would actually get a link to the attachments that have been added in here. So that's a really great feature that you get to look at. And this whole data table here is really awesome in that you can really drill down on your data sets and get to see some cool stuff. All right, so just a quick overview of things that we're able to do. We're able to go ahead and get an overview on the item details pages, which has the links to open the layer in the map viewer, the scene viewer, to publish it, to export the data and be able to share the data. We have a tab to be able to view the data in a data table and just look at the raw data and be able to work with that and really drill down into that data there. We have a tab for the visualization of the data, so you can update the visualization for your layer directly in the item details pages without having to add it to a map. And the benefit of this is that if you're using the ArcGIS API 4 for JavaScript, you can add layers via the item IDs. So as any visualization that I apply to the layer in here will get transferred into the layer when you use the ArcGIS API 4 to add that as a layer item. You can also look at your usage statistics as well as the advanced settings for that layer. So check out the item details pages, get a little bit familiar with it. It really will help you out when you're using the platform and make things easier for you. Thank you.